Now, small firms are, as I often say, the engine room of the British economy. They account for half of all commercial activity while employing 2/3 of our workforce. But many entrepreneurs say they're suffering from late payment issues, from over-regulation. So we thought we'd invite back the government's Small Business Commissioner, Liz Barclay, and we're going to discuss some questions that you've put right here on the money. Liz Barclay, thanks so much for joining me today. Many viewers and listeners will recognise your voice as soon as you open your mouth. You presented you on yours on BBC Radio for
a while ago.
Some time. You used to be very senior in the Citizens Advice Bureau. You are a campaigning journalist in your own right, and you've gone into government to help out as a small business commissioner. So let's just put some questions to you. The first question we've got, Mike emailed us at gbviews@gbnews.uk to say this, and this is an area I know that you really want to focus on in your role as Small Business Commissioner: late payments, something we've both written about a lot over many years. So Mike says, I'm a freelance builder and I haven't been paid for a project I worked on back at Christmas. I've been chasing and no response. What can I do?
An awful lot of questions I'd need to ask Mike, and if Mike would get in touch with our team, we'd be only too pleased to do that. But first of all, as a freelance builder, who are you working with? Who's your customer? Is it a domestic customer? So is it a household? Because if it is, then we've no jurisdiction whatsoever. That household customer needs to pay you.
Right.
However, what I would say is, if they owe you enough money, then it is possible that you could take steps to make them bankrupt, for instance. And that quite often exercises the mind and gets the payment to flow through. Or ultimately, you could end up taking that person to court. I would always caution against court action.
Is that the small claims court, so-called?
Well, it depends how much is owed, of course.
Okay.
We don't know how much Mike is owed. I do caution about getting into legal proceedings because it's expensive, it takes quite a long time, and actually the person may not have any money. Do we know if they own that house in the first place? So there's a lot of questions that have to be asked there. But the other option, of course, is that Mike has been working freelance with a construction company.
Yeah, so he's a subcontractor.
He's a subcontractor, and he hasn't been paid for 6 months.
So he's owed money by a corporate entity?
Possibly.
Does that change the landscape?
Well, it could do, because if that corporate entity is signed up to the prompt payment code, which we administer,
right,
then we can investigate to see whether or not that customer is in breach of the prompt payment code. And of course, then that allows us to step in and look at whether or not that customer is paying 95%, at least 95% of its small suppliers, its small businesses, which have fewer than 50 employees. Are they paying those within 30 days? And if they're not, then they're in breach of the code. So we can step in there and investigate. But what I would say is, and what I'm constantly saying is, look, freelancers are the talent. They're the people who innovate. They're creative. I've been freelance all my life. So perhaps I would say that then, wouldn't I? But, you know, I am the talent that helps you drive your business success. Now, if you don't pay me and I go out of business because I can't manage my cash flow and wait 6 months to get paid, I've gone next time you come to look for my services. Where are you going to find another person who can do that, deliver for you, like Mike does? It's going to cost you money, it's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you resources to go out and find that supplier. Got to build a relationship with them. And if you lose that person, you're losing your edge. You're losing what gives you the creativity of your own firm.
Now, Liz,
so I would caution, look after your freelancers.
Liz, we haven't got much time today, but we are going to hope to make this into a regular feature where you and I discuss these small business issues. This late payment thing, which I know you're focusing on, you and your officials, that's basically your mandate. It's really close to my heart. My dad was a small builder with a bloke with a van, and he used to say to me, son, for every bad builder, because you always hear about cowboy builders, there are 2 bad customers, constantly getting knocked. You're getting knocked for money in the parlance. And I think this is so immoral. I've seen it cause family breakdown. I've seen it cause really bad human outcomes.
And mental health issues.
Indeed.
We are hearing more about mental health problems in the construction sector than ever before. Just
before we end, let's just go to the final question we had. John asks, we did have some others, but we'll go to the final one. We'll come back to the others on another time. The impact of COVID, says John, has had a huge effect on my small business, such as the supply chain issues. What can I do?
Well, again, John doesn't say what the supply chain issues are, but I suspect that most of the things that he would normally be selling are sitting in the middle of the sea somewhere, or he's having problems getting materials for his
post-pandemic.
products.
All the freight ships are in the wrong places, aren't they? And the cost of freight has gone through the roof.
And the cost of containers, never mind the cost of the materials. So it really is about looking at whether or not you can absorb those costs, and most small businesses are telling me they can't. So they're having to raise their prices, and of course their customers haven't got the money. I mean, we've just been hearing about that. Customers simply don't have that money to spend. So you have to look at, can you find alternative suppliers, or can you find alternative materials that are cheaper?
Liz, it's been great to have you with us. You're going to come back again soon. We're going to talk about more small business issues. But
Always.
for now, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you in the studio. That's all we've got time for today.